Hi people, welcome to Out of the Blue Art of Improvisational session that took place at Black History Month 2021. Blue K Jazz Dance as individual dancing. One of the key things is I set out to find places, galleries, museums, very accommodating for individuals to use the space that they have to allow people for me to do a short improvisational performance. And basically I'm keeping up my performance skills by dancing in different spaces and places, especially places which have an influence on my creativity. Museums have always been a beautiful place I found for creative stimulus, as well as galleries, as well as museums, special architectural places in London, in Manchester, Greater Manchester, etc., by bridges, under bridges. But what happened, they have to have some form of influence and creativity into this space. I love this space as an individual. I always wanted to dance in the space, so I took the opportunity to dance in the space, and I call it Out of the Blue jam sessions. It was something that I developed from the 80s, where I'd go into spaces and places and dance in there and film myself in them. I was at Oxford Brookes from 05 to 09, not in Oxford. And basically I used to go to Modern Arts Oxford. I loved upstairs in a beautiful wooden floor that really had a vintage flavour. I danced in front of various key places. But what happened, a lot of the museums were shut when I went to Oxford because they're in regeneration, so they're in that stage of regeneration at that time, so that was a bit of a sad state. But what happened, I danced in front of stately homes, Victorian buildings, etc. as an individual. Do you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to really do some dance pieces in galleries in Oxfordshire, as I've done in other places like Bedfordshire and other places as an individual. And it's basically a sort of rebellion, me actually performing in these places, because generally what happens is, unless you have an opportunity to work with galleries, which I've had, and museums in the past on a project, you couldn't use the space. But what happened in the past, we had spaces and places for dancing. Now we don't have spaces, random places for space and dancing. We don't have them at the moment. And if you dance now today, it's an amazing story. People looking like you're like a weirdo as an individual. As an artist, I don't let that stop me. And that's why I go out and just dance randomly in places, doing Out of the Blue workshops. And what happens invariably, people assume that I am a performer employed by the gallery, actually. And what's been nice is gallery employees don't generally stop me unless it's something, there's a matter of emergency, which happened to me, for example, in Central Library. It was a beautiful, they got an exhibition space, their own gallery space in Manchester Library. And I saw, right, no one's there, I can create a performance here, which I did. But what a security guard came and said, "Do you have authority to be performing here?" I said no, as an individual, but I already done my video in already, so which was very good. But a woman came and said, the woman who was head of that area identified, oh, you can't perform there because health and safety reasons, a lot of issues, which was grounded, which I took that. But I already done the performance, which was really, really good. And so here's me using the space for what I want to do, as a COVID warrior, wearing the mask as an individual, which is very, very important. And basically sharing my lifestyle. I'm living a lifestyle here. Dance is a part of my active lifestyle. I perform every day to refine and develop myself. But not only that, I do it for my health and well-being. I do it to improve my cognition as a person with neurodiversity, and most importantly, I'm doing it to beat loneliness. Is one of the key things, and keeping myself forward thinking and progressive learning in what I'm doing. I use the videos myself to watch, to show, to develop my style of developing my dance styles, which I'm using UK jazz dance as a language, which I learned from clubs, and which I developed from clubs, from listening to records as an individual, then went on to do further training. So I learned languages of contemporary dance, creative dance, expressive dance, experimental dance, and that's how I'm dancing here. I'm not dancing like I would dance in a club here, but I'm using dance club movement as an individual. I'm using a lot of movement that is very much close to my body as an individual. Do you understand? You see me using some sporty movements, running up and down. You see my feet are kept close to the ground. The reason for that situation is because African dancing wasn't allowed. There's a history. People don't know the steps that African diaspora people have taken, particularly from the Caribbean, to develop their dancing. They have gone through a torrid time to do that as an individual. So me in the gallery, I've gone with ideas because this gallery represents colonialization. Do you understand? And I'm a individual who came through colonialization. My parents, my mum's country, my dad's came to this country in 1961. In Jamaica, was called, gained its independence in 1962. Okay, so my mum is from Grenada. She comes from Grenada, and her island was colonialized, till 1974. Do you understand? So I grew up with my parents, experienced colonialism, and I went to Grenada under colonial rule. Do you understand? That means when I went there, they didn't have a flag. They had the British flag. They didn't have their own Grenadian flag. So I seen colonialization. My dad seen colonialization before he died as an individual. You know what I'm saying? His parents see the end of colonialization before he died, and it made a great difference because it brought about individuals having an opportunity to reclaim the culture and to perpetuate their culture with pride as an individual. So I'm doing this here. Basically, the steps I'm doing, is amazing how some of the old African steps and the colonialization steps and slavery steps are still with us. They're still with me in this movement I'm doing. If individual experts watch what I'm doing, they will identify to you there's clog dancing in there, there's real dancing in there, there's flamenco dancing in there, there's North African dancing in there, there's West African dancing, perspective of timing and everything. So rhythm is important to this. The whole way I'm dancing as an individual, very close to my body as an individual, very, very relaxed. These were some of the individuals that was introduced to tap dance, for example. There's many different strands of tap dancing. I've done tap dancing as an individual. The whole idea is to be done in a cool manner. I'm messing with balance, I'm messing with weight as an individual. I've done contemporary dance, so I'm throwing my body off weight and catching it. This is the whole thing about living in a world where you are marginalized, a world where you're exploited, where people say that you're free. As an individual, you have to basically drop off your center point and catch yourself in an improvisational way from perspective of being trained. And I've been trained to improvise any space, any place by my parents, because one of the key things, impromptu dancing in the Caribbean world is huge, and our parents encouraged us that, you know. So we got carnival, it's impromptu activity. Do you understand? As individual people go to parties, our parents encourage us to dance at social functions, no matter what it is. A wedding, come on son, dance up, you know what I mean? Funeral, birthdays and all that. They don't encourage you to sit down and not be social. This is part of our sociability, yeah, as an individual. So when you come an entertainer, independent entertainer, duo entertainer, but especially independent entertainer, my early learning, my childhood learning, dance development in my home and outside my home, and adolescence learning taught me to perform in various places. When I went to school, I did creative dance. When I went to school, I did British folk dance. When I went to school, I did European folk dance. I did American disco dance, freestyle disco dancing. Do you understand? And I became a freestyle disco dance champion through entering competitions, which our school encouraged. So what happened, I gained the education, and I'm showing this education here. Now, I'm showing three key things at this moment when I'm dancing here. I'm showing dance empowerment education. I'm showing dance education. Dance education is where you use dance as a tool to improve people's confidence, their self-esteem, their positive self-image, to develop positive characteristics and personality traits. That is a use of British education here. And dance entertainment. So what happened, you can see as an individual, I'm performing with knowledge of performance skills for camera, performance skills for a watcher. You can see I'm looking straight into the camera with my camera's on the floor. Constantly I'm looking into that and I'm relaying to that. So I'm showing performance skills, focus, rhythm, timing, excellence, line. I mean, a whole host of things I'm showing, as well as showing courage by the fact I'm just dancing. I'm doing live improvisational poem dancing here.